Hello, class. Welcome to Week 4 lecture of Process Modeling and Analysis. My name is Dr. Hongyu Xiao, and I am your instructor for the course. And I am very happy to say that we are in the final week, and this is almost over. And so far, I have seen very good work, some very nice writings, some very nice layouts, and students are not cutting corners, and lots and lots good visualizations. So I like you to keep up the good work and put everything together in the final design document. So I'm very excited to see what we can come up with by the end of the week. And all the good work is going to pay off. Hopefully that you will have a very good document that you can you could show off. You can take to your future job search. You can print it out and it will be print quality. Hopefully that you have you know you will have something to show for after this course. Now, having said that, the opposite is that if your document needs clean up, lots of spacing, repeated visualization, the font's too big, double space, it's sloppy, no table of contents, and so on and so forth. This is probably the week that you want to go back and revisit your paper. I would much rather see a shorter paper than a bad paper. Okay, so if you feel like if you go back and shrink you don't have time to redo the graphs, but if you were to shrink it, you end up with less page. If you were to take out the double space, you end up with only 3 pages instead of 1 page. 1.5-inch spacing is probably good. 2 is too broad. We're not writing a draft. We're writing a finished product. Single space is very nice, but I know that some students feel like they're not writing 5 pages. So the most I could tolerate is 1.5 space. So if you have wider than that, I consider you're skimping on the page count. Okay, so but if you feel like you shrink the font size and you bring the tables and figures to be proper proportions, you're losing out on pages. You will probably get a better grade doing that than still resubmitting documents are just not professionally or print ready. Okay, so for those of you who already have a good layout, have beautiful templates, nice newsprints, you're okay. So this is not for you. It's for those who just kept moving on and haven't had a chance to revisit some of the layout issues or some of the content issues. This is for them, and I hope that they will take this month to really clean it up. So let's move forward. We talk about the course, the grading in the syllabus in week 1. So I just want to rehash it now that we're almost done. The 10% of the grade is professionalism, and so far by week 4, I see no reason why people should be losing points on that. We should all behave in a very professional, business-like fashion. We're courteous to our peers. We make our nice postings. We use formal languages, and so that's an easy 10%. And you do have to make an update to your master journal and glossary, and there's a list of terms that you could use. That's an easy 5%. And after this course, I may or may not see you, and I have no grip over you. So, but please realize your Tumblr and your glossary are viewed by the entire department faculty and by the program administrator and whoever wants to view it to gauge student reflection. So, when you write it, please write it well with not just me in mind. I'm not very critical. If you make a good posting, you get your grade. But you still have your capstone advisors to contend with. So make a good posting. You do have to do a post-knowledge survey. It is exactly the same as your pre-knowledge survey, but this time there's 5%. So in this course, the questions echoes the textbook. So you may want to go to the different sections of the textbook, and it's an easy 5%. So do not lose it, but you probably don't want to just click through it. So the rest of the assignment is 40% on projects and 40% on discussion. Discussion is pretty straightforward. We hug the textbook very closely, and most of the answers you can find in the textbook. Projects, this is the week where it gets tricky because you have to put everything together. We're going to spend some time, and there just by cleaning up, you could and put a final good paper together, you will earn the bulk of the project for a grade. So start cleaning up. Again, be reminded that professionalism and master journal glossary update are graded activities, and you want to pay attention to them. And the dates that you have may be different for this session, but the dates are applied to your sessions, and it is open the entire month. So if you haven't already, update your master glossary. You must do it, or you lose 5% of your grade. I generally don't really deduct points unless people complain. So if what you post somehow doesn't have a good vibe, then I will have no choice but to deduct grades. So make good postings. On week 4, you have your instructor's lecture. That's where we are right now. And your assigned textbook reading, the slides, the videos. We are looking at human factor modeling this week. So everything you've done so far, somebody will have to roll it out. And so this is the time when we look at what you're going to hire, who you're going to hire, how much it's going to cost, how you're going to manage people. And besides, it's two-ended. So human factors could be your internal staff, including management, plus the client side. Okay, so the two human factors have to work well together in order for you to have a successful model in implementation. And finally, you have that 5% course knowledge survey, which we'll cover at the end of the session. Remember your textbook. You should have studied it well by now. And we're in week 4 of your textbook, behavior modeling, and that's actually chapter 2. And please read that. And your slides will look something like this. It's a changing environment, so do go into the activity and load up the latest versions. Likewise, for your videos, it's an evolving list. So this shows you an example of what it may look like. It doesn't take too much time, and it's pretty straightforward. On first post instruction, again, just like all the other weeks, the answers could be found in the textbook. I do not want to cut and paste. I do not want to paraphrase. I want you to apply the knowledge to your working company, and preferably your working company is also your capstone, because then you will have fulfilled the requirements for this course as far as your capstone is concerned. Okay, what we want to do is look at recognition prime decision model, and and it's abbreviated RPD, and I want you to look at how that can be applied to human resources as far as decision making goes. And I also want you to look at how you can apply human networks, neural networks for human resources, and how fuzzy logic and fuzzy influences could be applied for human resources. And fuzzy logic and fuzzy influence, I want to talk about that a little bit outside of the context of the book. Uh, uh, that concept was very, very popular in the 80s when it was first come into in vogue. And it continues to be a very interesting topic and pioneer of research because ambiguity and undecisiveness is what fuzzy is. So what that is saying is sometimes in business or in engineering or what have you in computer science, you don't have the exact answer. You have a wide tolerance of where truth could be. Okay, and that's where fuzzy comes in. So the areas that maybe not, it's close enough, those are what considered fuzzy influences. So fuzzy logic says if you don't have the exact solution based on data within tolerance, what kind of fuzzy logic can you come up with? Basically, what is the second best? Okay, based on what you have, what is the maybe logic? What is the maybe answer? And it is still going to be very accurate as long as your data still falls within tolerance. So as far as programming goes, it's a lot of if statements. So let's say fuzzy influence in data cleaning and data mining is a big item. So let's say if you don't have individual fields in your data mining and you have a text that you have to extract data from, so sometimes you have to look at the text before and the text after and to determine the context, and based on that you can perhaps field set your data that you have parsed. Okay, so but then sometimes you have to make some influences on the data. So if the person says it's five grand, and but you know it's not 5 grand, it's 5.65. So is the data good enough? Or if the person, if the context says a dollar amount but didn't quite quote which field that is, they didn't say if it's the sales price or if it's the tax or if it's the purchase price or what have you, but you are in desperation of data. So you could look at the amount and maybe perhaps do some fuzzy logic to it. And you say, well, it's 1 million, so it cannot be, delivery charge. So therefore, fuzzy influence is a way where you could say, what could this data be? Or in decision making, I don't have all the information, but based on what I have, what are the different scenarios? Okay, so those are fuzzy logic. And the book gives you a better definition, and if you look on the web, there are all kinds of umbrella under fuzzy. But that's basically what you say. If you don't have the exact answer, what can you come up with given what you already have? What can you infer? What can you deduct? What can you judge? So, and that's a very important concept. I don't want you to go into the math or the programming. I just want you to be aware of that. A neural network is pretty straightforward. It's a firing system. Okay, so it's like a ripple effect in business. Most of your models so far are sequential. You have a beginning and you have an end. Neural network is saying that each hop in your network is event driven, and if we throw a rock or a pebble into that part of the pool, okay, you're going to have a ripple effect coming out, and it's going to affect other junctures. All right, and you may have butterfly effects. So neural network is a very good representation of unexpected behaviors, and the way to represent them is to have different nodes and all the branches going out. So if something happens in one node, you radiate almost like your nervous system. It just fires, and then it traverses all the different leaves and all the different paths, and whichever other nodes that or blocks that you will hit, those will have ripple effect. And the closer the proximity, and that's where your nearest neighbors come in, the closer the proximity, the greater the risk or the greater the impact. Okay, so that's what neural network is good for. Very, very powerful mechanism. I absolutely love neural network and fuzzy logic because I think in business, nothing is so sequential. And every branch could go wrong. Every factor could go wrong. And risk analysis should be neural or fuzzy based as opposed to sequential based. Not everything comes down as a heartbeat from upper management, and not everything bubble up to the top. So the top doesn't know the bottom doesn't know the top. Okay, so these are very powerful HR management decisions and mechanisms that I think you should read upon and um, basically simulate that into your whole design mentality. Second post, again, with the fashion of the previous 3 weeks, you will research independently the concept of process simulation modeling and see the general scope of what's out there. I want you to concentrate in cost estimation because with respect to human resource, because it's a wide topic. So I want you to look at simulation in human resource. The smallest example is when this is, let's say if you have a restaurant, sometimes they simulate the business before actually opening. So everybody is pretending that it's an operation, and we actually go through the momentum of simulation. And same thing with network. If you have an internet, the first day you go live is really not the first day you use the system. So there's a lot of simulation in process modeling. So you have design, implementation, and simulation, which is testing in a way. So when you have human resource, you really don't want to put them on the field day one and let them sink and swim. So there's some type of simulation process involved. And so I want you to look at the cost of simulation and modeling when it comes to human resource. And training is a big part of it. So keep that in mind when you're doing question 1 on post 2. And again, post 2, question 2 is the reciprocal posting that you would do to the Wednesday posting. So you look at what your peers have done, pick one that interests you, and research upon it, and echo back. Okay. And hopefully, with the posting and the reciprocal posting, you guys are giving me, or you gals are giving me things are analytical in nature. So at least the utility functions by now, I'm sure you cover utility functions and risk functions in your business intelligence course. If you don't, and if you have the textbook, you can easily look it up. So I definitely like to see some algorithm analysis and utility functions. I definitely want to see some book value on recognition prime decision model, and you definitely have enough information to do some in-depth neural network and fuzzy logic. If you can give me visualizations on those and analysis on those, you get very good grades. Otherwise, at least give me the insights. And when you respond back to your your peers, I want you to show that you offer an elevated approach, things that they probably have overlooked. And again, constructive feedback, as if you're working in an engineering team, the outcome of your work, of your model, of your feedback will never affect your grade, but the synergy will improve your grade. So I don't want you to hesitate in giving comments because you worry about that your comments may be wrong and that will hurt your grade. No, I want to see the process, and I don't really treat you as a fortune teller. So feel free to comment, to make judgments, to be bold about your analysis. And if your peer jump into the conclusion, you know, realize it's just a thought process. So nobody gets offended, and we want a lot of synergy. And as you know, you do have community discussion board. I hope that if you have good pictures that you have done, visualizations that you're very proud of, maybe you want to share that with the class. No copying and no plagiarizing, and you have to do your own work. But if you haven't done anything to the community post, week 4, I recommend that you do. At least make a concerted effort that you're sharing with the class on the wonderful work that you have done. Final finale of your project, you have to write me two-ended, because human factors could be your customers and your staff. So the two sections that you have to add to your paper right now is a customer section, and you have, because I don't know what your working company, well, I kind of know, but I don't know what your design concept is as far as your customer goes. So you have to have a customer section, and it could be a title, as long as I know it's a client, customer, as long as I know it's the customer end of your human factor analysis. Okay, and I want an explanation of your customer effort, what your domain is. Are you trying to solicit? Are you trying to retain? Are you trying to expand to a new territory? I want a decision on the risk on your customer solicitation. It has to be figure 2.5 on page 27. I want to show some work on utility functions based on table 2.1 and figure 2.2 on page 29. If you have some work that you have done in business intelligence analytics on utility functions and risk management, by all means incorporate that. That would definitely add more depth and insight into your work than just this handbook. And then the other part is you have to write a section on human resources. And the one that I want you to do is the OODA, Observe, Oriented, Decide, or Act, or OODA model in figure 2.4. And then you have to apply the recognition decision model, PDA, based on figure 2.3 on page 35. The page number may be different based on the versions of the book that you have, so I give you both the figure number and the approximate page number. So do find the figures, and I will have the figures in this presentation, so you wouldn't go to the wrong figure. You have to design a stock and flow for outsource, and that has to be different than the stock and flow that you have designed previously. So I want to compare both of them. Okay, so you will have two regions, either domestic or foreign, regional or national, in-house or outsourced, that type of thing. And you will have two stock and flow models, and they have to be dramatically different. So if you just take what you have before and make a few alterations, you're not going to get a good grade. The last page is minimum 1/2 of your APA reference. And finally, you want to put everything together from week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. You want to combine all references as the end pages, minimal 2 pages by now, because you're doing 1/2 page per week. Please correct any mistakes. I should have 20 pages of solid sections on all the different sections that I have. In addition to that, not counting as part of the 20 page, a very nice graphical title to your design document. Just one page. The first page should be your design document title. Give your work a nice title, your name. Try not to have the school reference because you may use this for a job reference, so it's up to you. All right, so try to make this professional. Your name, you probably want to remove the date because you don't know, you don't want it to be obsolete 2 months down the road. So your name and your title and a nice graphic cover page will make this very everlasting. So that's just a recommendation. And then not counting as part of the 20 plus pages, you should have a table of content because we have a lot of pictures. You should have a table of figures and a table of data. Appendix. Any supporting documents that you have, your data, should all belong in appendix. So you could you should have a good 30-page to 40-page document with 20 pages being the work that has been done for these past 3-4 weeks. Again, you put it all together and fix all the problems. Make sure they hug. Make sure they're condensed. Make sure they're not too big, not too small, and PDF it and make them completely ready for print. Something that we can take to a meeting with no timestamp, because maybe you want to use this for a job interview a year from now. You don't want an obsolete documentation, but that's just a thought. To look at the logistics, figure 2.1, that's what you need to do for 1B. That's what this is very oversimplistic. I need a full page. Not necessarily a full page, but I need probability. I need more branches than 2. Okay, basic rule: 20 entities, more than 2 branches from the previous weeks. Your diagram your visualization should be 2/3 of the page in that complexity, and 1/3 of the page being the explanation. That's generally a good layout. Color, the textbook has it in black and white and very simplistic. So this is your utility function. This is very, very simple. I hope you come up with something a little bit more complex. But the elements are here. Give me a visualization and give me a table. This is a typical recognition prime decision model. This is sequential top to bottom with a start and an end. So if you could give me something like this, it suffices. But if you can give me a recognition prime decision model that's time-oriented, neural, and fuzzy, that would really be a challenge. And that would be very exciting to read. You have to give me process data flow and feedback as applied to UDA model. And this is something what it looks like. You definitely need to have a feedback loop. So this is an example. It may not relate to your company, but this is something that you have to do. You may look up in the internet and see what other variations you can come up with. Again, you have to revisit stock and flow, but this time apply to human resource. I hope to see color, and it cannot be the same as what you have done before. This is a simple HR diagram. Again, do not copy this. If you go on the internet, you'll see a lot more human resource diagram. Find something that is appropriate for your working company and the product and services that you intend to sell or promote. This is a sample cost analysis. These are like 3 different examples, but this doesn't have the data, so chances are you want and it doesn't have the write-up, and they're very simple bar graph. So you could have bar graphs, you could have scatter plots, you can have many different other orientations, and you can explain it in sort of a data flow diagram. So be creative on your cost analysis, and they can also be accounting based. So strategy for success, prepare me a final document. Do not prepare me a document that only contains week 4. You have to present to me a 20 to 40 page document. 20 page being the meat of the writing, 5 pages per week. Okay, so you cannot give me 5 pages of supporting pages, title page, reference page. Your references should be at least 2 pages. The meat of your writing should be at least 20 pages, and then any other supporting documentations. And if you just send me 20 pages with no title page and no supporting pages, no table of contents, no organized visualization table of content, that means you're skimping on time. You didn't take the time to polish it. I like newsprint layout. I like graphical layout. I like finished products. I don't like things in draft mode. I like good orientation. I like to show that you have put some graphic design into the wonderful pictures that you have created. So present me a very appealing 20 to 4 pages PDF document. Okay, and if you haven't already done so, make sure your modeling flowcharts or large scale, and you use professional writing, business literature, and it's ready for print. And it should be a very, very interesting document if it's well placed and something that we could all be proud of. And I just can't wait to see your final product. So please spend time on polishing your final product. Make sure you don't submit huge fonts at this stage, lots of empty spaces, very simple diagrams, or diagrams that I can't read the captions. Your graduate level. So please produce me a document that reflects your caliber, and you'll get very high points if it's your capstone. Not because you use your capstone, but because it will show month of depth in your data collection and your analysis. So good luck to you all. I cannot wait to see your final design document, and I am glad that you allowed me this opportunity. Final bookkeeping, as I mentioned in the beginning, you do have the course knowledge survey. It's 5% of your grade. You will have to click on this link, and you'll see the exact same thing. Make sure when you finish, you capture the screen and send it through FSO. Not your answers, but just your completion screen. And to show that you have completed it. There's a course evaluation. Please take the time to do it. It will help me improve the course and serve the students better. It is completely anonymous, so feel free to criticize, feel free to spill your guts. I wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know the summary until way after the course is over, by the time you're completely gone. Finally, I'm done, and I'd like to bid a final farewell. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to read your assignments. I terribly enjoy reading them, and I think I've seen a lot of good work. And if I critique your work, and that's because I care, it's a lot easier for me to just shovel them along. And I hope that you have learned different modeling mechanisms, different analysis techniques, and I hope that you have applied it to the working company or your capstone. And finally, goodbye, and it was a pleasure. Bye.